I'm gonna be right on Love and No, the Bell Collective, Birmingham edition. Basically, I'm gonna get on here and pretty much tell you guys what the rundown is. We got Kumi, we have Kayla, we have Dominique, we also have Kyla, and we have our girl Tiffany. Pretty much, Tiffany is to the point where she decides that she wants to ask Kayla to come out and actually have a girls' time. And her intentions were genuine in the beginning because she pretty much wanted to see why Kyla felt like this. She never had any girlfriends, so she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna invite her out." So fast forward, she's already at the restaurant. Her friend shows up, Megan, and they actually are discussing, what's going on. She was like, "Oh, I just pretty much talked to her, and pretty much trying to invite her into the sisterhood. So I decided I would invite her out for lunch." So she comes in on the conversation, but she didn't hear what was said. So she sat down. Everybody spoke. They pretty much went at it as far as talking, trying to catch up. So it's to the point where it went out of left field where Kyla asked Tiffany the infamous question, what happened with the scene with her and Stormy? And like she was trying to pick her brain and figure out why they fell out and most importantly why she was disinvited. But here's the key. Kyla already knew why she was disinvited, but the part that sent me over the edge and really had me keying was what she kept asking her the question about the mop. Because she already knew that was basically in my mind, I call it triggering. She triggered the mess out of her by asking her that because she know that's the main reason why she couldn't come to Stormy's live event. On the last episode, Stormy had a live event for the launch of her new line that she had with Lala, and she did it on TikTok Live, which was like a 48-hour live stream. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't know she was that spicy, and most part, I didn't know she was that messy. But anyway, go Kyla. Kyla pretty much answered the question. And every time she asked the question, she said, "I see where this conversation is going, and I'm pretty much gonna get off." And I was like, I'm saying to myself, she pretty much just want to ask you a question. I guess she want to hear your side of it. But really, she was stirring the pot. And I guess what? I'm here for it because at the end of the day, Tiffany don't like to be held accountable. Now, Stormy had already got her together earlier because they asked her, why did she do that? And she was like, "Well, I basically just got on here to ask you that because I wanted to see why you disinvited me." And she was like, "Girl, you already know why I disinvited you." And she was, she playing stupid, like Kyla playing stupid. But what really made her mad was the fact that she had to be accountable and tell the lady why that stuff happened. Because at the end of the day, she knew it was wrong. Cause Stormy basically was at her event because they had like a couples day where they basically was everybody was meeting up and pretty much kikiing, for the week, and it happened on like a Thursday. But Stormy, she pretty much is a drama queen, and she pretty much decided she wanted to come in full Ghana gear, which she had already purchased at Fumi's house the previous night. And she said, "Well, I tell you what, girl, since you already said that you was gonna be upfront and you was gonna be my hostess, you gonna collect the money." She said, "Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not finna be doing no more." She said, "I tell you what, get the mop and the broom and go and sweep up on aisle 4." She said, "Girl, I ain't gonna sweep up on nobody's aisle." So, Stormy kind of laughed it off, and so did Tiffany. So I thought, fast forward, that everything's gonna be cool until she got the infamous call Kyla did, and, in her fashion, she was shady boot. She said, "Well, everybody got invited, but Tiffany." And Tiffany was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Girl." But anyway, getting back to the discussion at hand, Kyla pretty much was so messy that she accepted the invite and pretty much was shady about it because she said it in the confessional. She said, "I wouldn't have been mad if she hadn't disinvited me too." When I heard her say that, I hollered. Like she said, I would sit here and talk trash to her because at the end of the day, she wants to be shady, and most importantly, I'm gonna make her become accountable and tell me what I want her to hear. But here's the thing that really tickled me when actually they left and everybody get through eating. It was time to go. She walks out the door and she reports back to Stormy. And basically, Stormy's on the phone and she asks her what went down. And she was like, "Well, we had our meet and greet. We did what we did." And basically, I was trying to hold her accountable and she didn't want to be held accountable. So I asked her the infamous broom question. And Storm was like, "Huh?" So they both laughed it off. And as soon as she was in mid conversation, Tiffany walks out because Tiffany had to pay the rest of the bill because Tiffany invited her out, but per Tiffany, she said she was gonna pay for everybody's food. So her friend that was there before Kyla left. So Tiffany went outside, and basically almost she caught her what heard of what she's saying. She pretty much knew she was talking about her, but she walked past and tried to play it off. And so she turned around and gave her that eye contact and pretty much was laughing like she was saying, "I know you talking to me." But she said, "I did not know she was a mean girl, and most importantly, I did not know she was a mean." When she said that, baby, I was too tickled. Cause at the end of the day, she already knows Stormy is the big dog in this particular thing. Everybody reports back to Stormy, and most importantly, Tiffany is the outsider in this thing, which is kind of odd because at the end of the day, Tiffany was 10 toes down with Stormy, and Kyla was the new girl on the bunch. Cause Tiffany been knowing Stormy longer than Kyla have, but Kyla is pretty much the new girl. And then we back to the point where we get over there where Meg Amber is. Amber this is the one that I told y'all that works for Stormy. She does the marketing part of it. Amber's on her IVF journey, and she pretty much is trying to get pregnant. And so she takes us on a journey, and she pretty much in this scene she shows where she has to have a shot. So her actual cousin, which actually works for Stormy as well, she gave her the shot, and she was telling her that she didn't know whether or not she was gonna go to the event that Tiffany was having, where they basically did like like a galantine. I don't know. That's the thing people do now, where basically the women get up and they meet up for Valentine. They pretty much give gifts, which is cool because at the end of the day, these women pretty much like they do their thing, and they get up and they do what they do. But you have to call a spade because at the end of the day, Tiffany does not like the word accountability, and most important, she don't like to be backed into a corner. And so it tickled me so bad. I was like, she was trying to be nice though, like she said, I was being genuine. I brought her in here, and then she pretty much was trying to shade me. So the thing that really tickled me was when she got through paying for her, she walked out there and she didn't know that she was talking on the phone. And like I told you guys, she said she didn't know that she was speaking to her minion. So we fast forward over here to Stormy, because Stormy do her big one. She pretty much was financing her mom and dad so that they can get a house. They got 5 acres of land in Birmingham, but they're to the point where they're gonna build a dream home in the back, which is cool. So maybe we can get a chance to go along with the ride and see them actually build a dream home in real time. So that her son was basically asking what was they gonna do today. She said, first of all, we're gonna pray, and then we're gonna have breakfast, which I thought was so cute because I was introduced to Stormy when she actually was on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now she's on Bell Collectors and she's doing her big one over here, but that's neither here nor there. So look like all the internet nephew has grown up with 4 eyes, and she basically was telling us that it was very hard for her to conceive him. Number one, and number two, with her having endometriosis, he pretty much was her miracle baby. So she pretty much shows us clips of how it was when she actually gave birth to him. But I think Stormy is really really cool, and I like the fact that I can see the side of her where she pretty much shares her wealth with her mom and dad. And I think that's a very good thing, because at the end of the day, you got to take care of who took care of you. And I like her relationship with her mom because it seemed real genuine. But they had a moment where it really went left, and they pretty much both started crying because they started talking about old times, and her mom started, thinking about how her dad had died. So they were showing clips of that and how he looked and this and that. But anyway, I think that it's gonna be a good thing for Stormy because she pretty much, like she said, this is based on generational wealth. It's not to the point that her parents needed her money. She said her parents pretty much wanted the house, and she was glad that she was able to do it. So her and her husband pretty much had dinner, and they pretty much went and talked, and she pretty much started talking about what happened. He pretty much cut her off, and the dog started barking, so it went left. But anyway, I thought it was kind of cute that she decided she would throw a date night in there. Now it looks like to me the little lunch for her Lala brand is pretty much doing good. She said because the 24-hour live turned to a 48-hour live. But if she pretty much be on TikTok because she sells a lot of her products on the TikTok shop. She has her own company, body butters anyway. So she's pretty much what that's what she does. So she's introducing us to her brand. She takes us along for the ride, which I think is super cute because at the end of the day, who wants to be a boss and they're not able to show people what they do? But I thought the 24-hour live was cool, and then she decided she wanted to bring Martell in there on for the ride. Now this particular episode, they really ain't too much with filming. I don't know that she was doing her thing on her own or what, but I'm pretty much waiting to see what Fumi has to offer to us because she pretty much introduced her husband in the beginning. So I want to see whether or not we can tap in what they got going on. Like I told you guys, Fumi is Nigerian, so she pretty much is an influencer, and she pretty much does YouTube and TikTok. So she does a lot of get ready with me's, and she does the most. But she pretty much the it girl. I pretty much like her vibe. But I think her and her husband to the point where they trying to buy a new home, perfuming. Cause like she said, he does what she says. And I hollered when she said that. Cause he's like, yeah, you know that. Happy wife, happy life. But at the end of the day, I think it's one of those things where he really doesn't want to buy a new home, but he's wanted to please her because she says she's ready to upgrade. She's not to the point that they need another home because it's like they just had one child. But yeah, Fumi's the it girl. She pretty much, tells her husband what she wants and pretty much expects him to do what she asks, which is not a bad thing. Cause like she said, we both bring home the money, so it's no point in to the point where we don't enjoy our money, which I pretty much understand what she's saying. But our husband is an attorney, so that's gonna be good to see. We to the point we can glimpse into that and see where they go with their journey. But yeah, I love this for the girls. I want to see where they go, and hopefully they can mend their ways. And most important, that Stormy could get over the fact that she not only shaded Tiffany, but she was able to bring Kyla in to basically tell her what went on. I thought that was hilarious. But in the day, these girls are doing a big one. We got, just like I told you, we got Stormy. We got our girl Fumi, we got our girl Tiffany, we got our girl Kyla, and we got our girl Monica, and we also have our girl Amber. Now, I personally am getting to the point where I'm kind of interested to see what goes on with Amber's journey, whether or not she goes along with it, meaning that she actually has a kid or she stores her eggs. But it kind of, is confusing me because I didn't know whether or not she was going to store eggs. But I thought the best possibility would be to store the eggs than to actually be trying to have IVF because she really don't have a partner that she wants to have a baby with. So I'm thinking she's gonna go ahead and have the IVF, and she's pretty much gonna go and get a donor to get her pregnant, if that makes sense. But this day and age, people do what they want to do. 'Cause technology, to the point you can have those options. But when she cried, I cried. 'Cause at the end of the day, I don't know her struggle. She pretty much, throws out little hints, but she don't really go into detail. Hopefully to the point where they'll go into detail and they'll pretty much take us on the ride of the journey. Because I'm pretty interested to see how this goes. And I'm hoping at the end of the rainbow she gets her kid, because some women are meant to be mothers. You know what I'm saying? It's their passion. I think it's one of those things where it'll complete her, and most importantly, it'll make her a better woman. Not saying she's not a good woman as it stands, but she's very determined. I can see that because her mom pretty much tried to steer her from doing it, because she was like, "Why are you doing this?" And I think what it is, her mom wants her to do it the traditional way. But she feels like since she has the money, why not go ahead and do it? But it was kind of, a little weird to me. 'Cause I was like, you. I understand what you're doing, but why would you want to just do it with a random sperm donor? But just like I said, it's 2026. Ain't no telling what people are doing. And considering that this is a reality show, you might know telling what you might see. Now her friend that actually was her roommate. We didn't get a chance to see her. I guess she went on a different journey. Her name's Aja. She actually like the brand ambassador over there, and she pretty much is a key too. But they didn't really say much about her this particular episode. But yeah, you guys, thought I want to bounce up in here and give you guys a review. But I'll be watching Bell Collective. I hope you know, not Bell Collective, wrong show. Bell Collector Birmingham, because I watch both. My bad, but I'm really enjoying this season. I hope these girls are pretty much take us on a ride. Let us see what they do, because a lot of them are boss bees, as I say, and I pretty much like Stormy because she do her big one. Like I told you guys, I've been following her ever since Love and Marriage Huntsville days. But when she brought Martell on there, I pretty much took me down memory lane, because baby Martell is that dude in his mind and pretty much on the internet.